Hello. Hi. Hey. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. We're back for another hot dose of 2236 AD, and there's a neighbor that is mowing their yard. So I don't know if you'll hear that or not. They're very close to my house, and I don't have my AC on today because it is very, very comfortable outside, which means I shouldn't be inside reading a fucking visual novel if we're being honest, but it's just a couple episodes, right? Like, and I kind of want to... I'm really into the story despite being totally and completely perplexed by it, as I so eloquently put it at the start of the previous episode. And so I guess we will go ahead and just dive right back into things, because why not? I'm scared. Welcome to Phase 13. It's the Unreachable Corridor. I'm scared because I'm betting that all the science is going to come back and then the game's going to start being smart at me again. But we'll see. We are still nowhere and no time because... and no when, because time does not exist in the archive. I'm back to being all alone again. I'm here too. You're not human, are you? That's right. Even when I'm left all alone, I always have Masako by my side. All alone, business as usual. Remind me why I even came here in the first place. Was I forced to come? They just love showing those two specific stills, like back to back. Just, that is a thing that they've got hotkeyed. I bet they got a script that just says, hey, show these two, and then they just call that script. Did I just want to meet Haru one more time? In the end, Senpai just strong-armed me into coming. To use Masako for her plans. Nevertheless, I'm ultimately the one who ended up having to depend on her. No, that's not right. Senpai probably brought me here for my own benefit. She wanted to bring me to an environment where I could learn what I need once I try to figure it out on my own. I see. What I want to learn what I have to learn in order to see her, I eventually have to make a move on my own. The only one who can find out is me, and me alone. I finally caught that obvious fact. In the end, I rely on others for everything. Do I really want to see Haru? Whatever. Thinking about that does nothing for productivity. I feel like looking for some kind of book would be a better use of my time. I say that, but will a book from here help me find out something about Haru? It's doable, don't you think? Yeah. Your mouth is gaping like a goldfish. Dr. CS! Thank you so much for before. Thank you very much. Think nothing of it. That was done half as a gesture of good faith, another half from her grace. I'm not alone then. Still, where the hell did she crop up from? Don't talk about people like they're bugs. I told you to call if you're having any trouble. You seem to be having some trouble, so I flew down here. Huh? If I recall correctly, you mentioned call if something happens, or something to that effect, ma'am. Oh, come on. Moscow, don't go poking holes in an argument that's not even there. I intentionally changed the wording around. Did you notice? Huh? Huh? Is this her idea of a joke? Well, she's snickering like one. I think she's the only one that's gonna be doing so, though. That's just confusing. Incidentally, by saying flew, I connected with bugs. Yeah, I got that. It's not very funny. Ah, yes. So, what happened? I want to know about Haru. What exactly? Like, where she is right now and what I have to do to see her. Just how much do you know about her again? She's in a different universe, a universe with differing aspects, if I'm not mistaken. Dimension permutation hypothesis, is it? Yes. In the composed section of my mind, I ponder, why am I talking to her about everything, I wonder? Why, I wonder? No matter how much of a doctor she is, I don't know how much she knows about dimension permutation hypothesis. The fact that she is in a place like this kind of tells me that she's probably way smart enough to understand this little hypothesis. Probably not a big deal for her. Maybe I'm going off intuition and thinking she must know everything. The sea and sky, the sun and space, the desert and bookshelves, white, black, and red, hope and despair. That's what I saw inside the doctor's mind during the power outage a little while back. I feel as though everything is there. She must know everything. I think that's why I can relax and talk with her about everything. It's like, to make a comparison, a child being able to talk to their parents about anything. Parents, huh? She must know about everything. Maybe even more than Hime Senpai does. You want to know about dimensional permutation hypothesis? Oh, please tell me more about dimension permutation hypothesis. I've not learned nearly enough. Yes, ma'am. All right. Or would you rather like to know the tale of the girl whose spirit split off and traveled the universe? Follow me if you would. The doctor leads me somewhere, entering a passageway lined with bookshelves. I am very well versed in the dimension permutation hypothesis. Somehow I gathered that. You look like somebody who would be very well versed in the dimension permutation hypothesis. Are you? It's a generational thing. Right. Do you know about Wonderland? Wonderland? You mean like Alice in Wonderland? Through the Looking Glass kind of Wonderland? Yes, but while that is where the world derives from, what I am talking about is a series of incidents that occurred in 2025 AD, actually. Damn, we're getting close to that. I don't know at all. Not surprising. Do you know, Masako? Actually, ever since we arrived at the archive, I haven't been able to connect to the internet, so I'm kind of a big fucking dummy right now. Oh, and you can't look up anything new? You can't use any cloud service either, so you're in environmental dependency mode. The doctor suddenly stops walking, turns around, and says that. Do you mind if we talk alone for a minute? Be my guest. Well, on that note that I mentioned before, I really don't get the impression that any kind of communication is being established between us. Maybe she's just a poor speaker. A long time ago, humanity thought the following. The world is a three-dimensional space. There are three spans: width, depth, and height. Do you know of Euclidean geometry? Figure problems that appear in primary mathematics of all Euclidean geometry: triangle, angle, parallels, rectangular solids, etc. However, humanity eventually caught wise to something, that the surface of the Earth isn't really flat. The Euclidean geometry probably isn't enough to allow us to describe the world. Take this, for example. Oh boy, here we go. Through Euclidean geometry, it is generally known that the sum of a triangle's interior angles is 180%. But on a spherical surface like Earth, when drawing a triangle, it will end up being bigger than 180 degrees. Thus, what developed was non-Euclidean geometry. Non-Euclidean geometry comes in a variety of forms, but it basically bends Euclidean geometry and makes it more flexible, which is probably a good way to look at it. This new form of geometry changed the way we perceive the universe. Even Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity is described through non-Euclidean geometry. Sometime after, something called superstring theory was hypothesized in research. According to it, the universe is a 10 or 11 dimensional space, or should I say, when calculated theoretically, that is the only correct conclusion. In this way, a new spin on perceiving reality becomes a new geometry, and developments in physics mean the perpetuation of the perception of the universe changes. The flow is, historically, very common to see. Right then. Now, with the long forward out of the way, Wonderland, to put to put it short and sweet, was a major incident of that variety. It sure was something. They found the alternate world. They found the alternative world known as the Looking Glass world. You're familiar with the alternative elements, of course. Your smart tool that houses Moscotron is an alternative molecular compound. Alternative elements cannot be seen while standalone. Compounding them with normal element will allow them to show up in our world. That's because of alternative elements being substances that do not have width, depth, or height on a real axis. Alternative elements can finally be seen in the alternative world. In other words, the alternative world refers to a mirrored alternative universe. With Wonderland in 2025 as the start, the alternative world became a deeply debated subject, which would result in today's alternative compound technology. Superposition geometry was the form of geometry that was excellent at describing the alternative world. If we look at it now, the alternative world is a pre-directional dimensional space's imaginary times imaginary area, serving as one universe with differing aspects and can be easily explained as such, just easily. And all of that can be attributed to superposition geometry. Oh boy. I hope class has their superposition theory and geometry books out. Please turn to page 69. And after that, using superposition geometry, the HT infrastructure theory was constructed. Incidentally, the most mundane occurrence in Wonderland was the awakening of telepathy in a certain man, I believe. The others were extremely flamboyant by nature, by comparison. This man's telepathy, the phenomenon known as HT, and the result of calculating scientific explanation became the 18-dimensional theory. To try and make it all fall into place, the universe had to have been the 18-dimensional universe described by superposition geometry. So, what was I talking about again? Ma'am, your guess is as good as mine. Oh yes, the dimension permutation hypothesis, right? So, this theory is a scholastic theory thought up by some bad men around the time of the alternative world was recognized. Bad men? Just a personal dislike. Take nothing from it. Getting back to the story, they thought that if the alternative world exists, then surely there exist other universes with differing aspects. That was actually very, very much correct, but in materials at the time, a ludicrous figure such as that big-ass number would never show up. It is ludicrous, isn't it? Huh? But wait just a second. Let us say that the alternative elements have some deep relation to the alternative world. If that is the case, why is it that we understand alternative molecular compounds so well, but we don't know anything about the alternative world? That's true. Actually, that's quite a naive way of processing that information. It has been said that a universe with differing aspects has yet to be found. That is why her affiliates, such as myself, run things behind the scenes. Would it be bad if it was known to the public? That all depends on your set of values, doesn't it? Personally, I might cease to be if another paradigm loss were to happen, so it doesn't earn my favor. Wowee! It is a good thing that you told us something like that. Is it a good thing that you told us something like that? Seems that way. Huh? Regardless, there are others who have visited here aside from you all. All have met their fates. Either that or they committed suicide. To phrase it another way, there is no one who has made it out of the archive alive. No way. Joking. Wait, what? Joking. I said it twice. Huh? It's a joke, but the truth of the matter is that whether it becomes a joke is up to you. Hey, cool, there's that lawnmower. Can you hear it? It's very loud. Alright. While we were busy discussing this and that, we made it. What is this? Oh, okay, a card catalog. With this, you can find some good books. Oh, do you know how to use it? Yes, I used one recently. even though it feels like it's been way longer than that. Okay, but I'll still show you around. I am technically the librarian here, after all. Let's see. Found it. And with that, let's make our way to the physics corner. Oh, boy! Oh, boy! I can't wait. I will lead the way. Right. Oh, boy. In a complete 180 from earlier, the doctor goes without saying a word. It's still amazing, though. The fact that she can guide me around without faltering, despite everything around us looking exactly the same, she very much gives off the librarian vibe. What? It's odd, though. Strange, even. I say that because, in this library, none of the bookshelves are labeled with a number or anything. From the looks of it, you're getting lost here whether you like it or not. I wonder how Hime-senpai is faring. She probably hasn't lost her way, has she? Truth is, the doctor seems lost herself. We keep walking for quite some time. I believe we keep walking for twice as long as before. Maybe it just feels like that long. Maybe it just feels like a long time because we aren't talking anymore. It's around here. The doctor stops in her tracks. This is the book you're looking for. It's somewhere in here, most likely. Most likely! I'll be taking my leave now! Huh? Hold on, wait a second. I don't have any reason to wait. I mean, well, you have a point. You certainly don't, but I would appreciate it if you didn't just pass the burden to me. It's fine if I do pass it on to you, so I'm taking my leave. Okay! Okay, then. She's just gonna go do her own thing. I have to get out of here ASAP and put as much distance between us as possible. What did she do? She realized you're a fucking creeper, my guy. That's what happened here. She got to look inside your mouth. Like, wait a minute. I don't think I need to be alone in a big isolated library where nobody will be able to find me with this fucking creepmo hanging around. It should be easy enough to find. Right. It's embarrassing, that's why. Huh? Well, it's fine. If you need me sooner or later, please give me a call. I think that there should be about 3 of us. So, I think that there should be about 3 or so different cases logged here. Okay. Good luck. Okay. Yes, ma'am. After the doctor gives me a glance, she really leaves the area. What should I do? Well, for now, why don't you try searching for a book? From what the doctor just said, I don't know what you should be reading exactly, but what was it she said again? Something about a tale of a girl whose spirit split and traveled across the universe? So, huh? Look for that, Yotsuba. What's wrong? The bookshelf where I'm looking at, huh? There's a book that isn't a red one. No way. It's true. There's one publication that isn't read on the bright red bookshelf. I guess you could call it khaki colored. It's a dull colored book regardless. I pick it up. Oh, this is by C.S. Does the Cat Bow to the Lion? Is this the doctor's book? I go down to where I awoke earlier in the place with the set of beds. I take a seat on the bed. I feel somewhat at ease here. Should I be reading this? What do you say, Masuko? Whatever the case, I don't think there's any harm in giving it a once-over, right? Oh boy. The publication is not part of the Akashic phone, I feel. I'm going off the fact that it's not read, unlike the Akashic phone books in this area. The publication has the title and the author name written on the spine. If I were to give my 2 cents, it's a regular publication. I feel it was even in the repository we visited the other day. Speaking of which, I realize that I haven't even read a single one of the Akashic phone series. I haven't even touched one. I wonder if it's all it's cracked up to be. For some reason, I can't get myself excited over it. Here I am, not even getting myself excited over the book I have here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I tell you what, I know I'm cutting it short, but at the moment, I'm just not ready to read into something like this right now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a pause here. I'm sorry that this one is much shorter than we're typically used to, but for my own sanity, I think it better that we stop here and we come back and we try to digest this when I have a much better brain power going on. So we will catch you next time. Hope you have a good one. Bye.